Okay, so DMRs, Designated Marksmen Rifles. There's a lot of history there. We've seen the calibers that people have used in warfare change a lot as bullet design changed. The invention of the Spitzer bullet, or a pointed bullet, what you guys are most likely associate with most rifle rounds these days. That's the Spitzer bullet. And as those were developed, the size of the round that people used and the performance that we were seeing out of it changed a lot, and we were able to develop what we think of as modern, not big bore, but larger caliber rounds, right? Like the 6.5, 308, all that kind of stuff. And so out of that came, when we got away from the battle rifles, right? And maybe BARs and M14s, that kind of thing. We saw those sort of get phased out for intermediate cartridges. There was still a need, both in the civilian world and in the military world, for a larger caliber that had heavier bullets that could go farther and have good terminal ballistics at those longer ranges. There was still a need for those. And so we came up with the Designated Marksman Rifle. And there's just a ton of information out there on how all that went down with all the different countries in NATO and all that jazz in the Western military world. Warsaw Pact countries followed suit. We won't dig into all that, but today we're talking about the idea of the modern DMR and why you may want one. Now, to start off with, I will say there are a good number of 308 and 6.5 caliber semi-automatic guns on the market today that are going to be a good bit cheaper than the SCAR. Palmetto State Armory, for example, is going to be releasing, or when this video comes out, may have already released a 308 Jackal. And they've also got the Saber line in 308, which are fantastic. And they've got their M110 version as well. So there's a lot out there, and a bunch of other companies make them as well. So I'm not saying that the SCAR is the definitive best one. It's the one I picked, and I'm going to talk you through that. So starting off, why did I pick the SCAR, and what purpose does this serve for me? Well, kind of the same purpose of DMR in general, right? This is a very accurate, reliable weapon that was designed for the purpose of being able to reach to the maximum effective range of the 308 caliber. So depending on the round and the shooter, that's probably going to be anywhere between 800 to 1,200 yards. You guys can argue in the comments about how far the 308 is actually effective. For me, where I live on the East Coast and do most of my shooting, I'm not going to get more than probably 800, 900, maybe 1,000 on like a power line trail or mountaintop to mountaintop, something like that. So this is going to have all the performance I need. Now, like I said, there are a bunch of other companies that make much cheaper rifles that shoot this caliber. Why did I pick the SCAR? One, it's a vibe, and I super duper like it. I was in the military during the GWAT. These things just, there's a certain cool factor, right? And I really, really dig it. Also, this is an original Belgian-made SCAR before they were being made in the States, and I got a stupid good deal on it. So that's why I went with the SCAR. Had I had to pay full price, I probably would have gone with something else. But the other reason I went with the SCAR is I did go to FN for the SCAR Armorers course for their 5.56 and 308 platforms. And I got to say, I was very impressed with their engineering, and the maintenance cycle on this thing is very attainable for me. So I can have the extra parts, which I have, the wear parts, and they're very easy to replace the way this was designed at the unit level, or for me, the individual level. So I know I'm confident in my ability to maintain and service this weapon far past my lifetime. So this will be, an heirloom or a generational thing that I can pass on, and I really dig that. Also, I'm a big fan of FN's barrels. They're very reliable, and I've been seeing really good accuracy out of this. And also the way it's gassed, and the gas system allows me to shoot cheaper, more training ammo, which still isn't super cheap with 308, but I can get really, really good accuracy with the more match and precision rounds. So that is the idea behind a DMR. It's going to be semi-automatic, allowing fast follow-up shots, and it's got enough capability for longer ranges, maybe if you're trying to punch through a barrier or something like that, or take down bigger game. Let's talk through how I have this thing set up and my thought process there. So we do have the different stock, not the UGG boot that came on the SCAR originally. I think this is much more functional and much more comfortable. I'm probably going to put some sort of like goon tape or something up here, just because I've noticed that, especially when I have facial hair, this gets a little ouchy when I'm shooting it, and that's annoying to me. But otherwise, this thing's great. Adjustable comb height, adjustable length of pull, and it is side folding, which works great for putting in a case or if I want to put it in a backpack or something like that. So I've got those options there. We got multiple sling points. We do have the Tango down grip on that. Not the biggest fan of that grip angle, but it works well. And I've seen no need to change it, right? I'm not going to spend money if I don't have to. Then we have our ambidextrous safety, which is 45 degree, super duper easy to use. And then we have the Geisley trigger in this, which I think is a massive upgrade. The SCAR trigger that came stock in this is not fantastic. It's not bad. You can do all the work with it you need, and a lot of good work has been done all over the world with these guns with a stock trigger. But again, it came in the gun when I got it, and so I wasn't going to say no to that. Otherwise, SCAR mags, not the cheapest item. They are wear items. They last pretty long, 20 rounds. And so just something to keep in mind when you're getting into this platform in general, or if you're getting into any 308 semi-automatic gun, make sure that you can identify a good source of magazines because that is going to be a wear item. And so that's something to keep in mind. But I got like 10 mags with this gun. So again, stupid good deal. And then up front, we've got our Kinetic Development Group rail. Kinetic Development Group makes really, really good stuff. And this gave us good capability so I can add a night vision or thermal device up here if I want to. And so that allows me, or like, you know, I could maybe change the mount out, put a diving board if I want to do a laser rangefinder or something like that. There's plenty of capability here. Although I gotta say, the ScalarWorks mount that's on this, I really, really love. And it's got the offset E-flex. So I've got the 3.5 to 18 on this. I went with this just because I really like the glass and I didn't need the 5 to 25. It's just more than I honestly need for where I'm shooting and how far I'm shooting. And I've got this in the IMRAD reticle. So again, I like that because that math is much easier for me and my Marine brain. Base 10 math is just much easier for me. I've got the offset for two reasons. We did a whole other video, which you can go check out on our YouTube channel on the idea of offset red dots, especially on precision guns. One, if I am using this for observation, my magnified optic for observation, which is a very normal thing to do. You're not always shooting super far out. And when you're shooting long range, you don't always want to be dialed all the way in and looking through this little soda straw. And something presents itself, I have a need to shoot fast and up close. The red dot allows me to do that with much more precision. And two, if I'm looking at something and maybe I am dialed in a little bit more, and I've got my magnification cranked up, and I see something that's at a different range. Again, you're looking through a very small field of view, even with our optics, which have a great field of view. It's just the nature of magnified optics. I can actually just rotate the gun slightly, and that Magpul bipod allows me to do that, aim in with the red dot, and then just roll the gun back and put the voodoo in front of my eye, and I'm on target. So it makes it very quick to sort of scan, assess, gather information, which is a really, really helpful thing. And then up front, I've got the Cloud Defensive Rain 3 with their stock pressure pad and a little bit of goon tape over it. And then, like I said, down here, I've got the Magpul bipod. So some dudes don't like the Magpul bipod. I've had zero issues with it. It can get a little loose for the cant, but that's easy to tighten up down here. Not a big deal. It folds up. It's very lightweight, and it's been great for me. Again, this isn't like a heavy belt fed, right? We're not throwing it down all over the place. It's done everything I need, and it's lightweight, and it was affordable. And then I've got the Unity Tactical Grip down here. And I've got that again because this is a gun that you absolutely can shoot fast, accurately up close. Yes, it's more recoil than 5.56, but it's a very doable thing if you just train with a little bit. And then so I've got the that Unity Tactical Vert Grip here for two reasons. One, I've always felt it's more comfortable for the wrist, especially when patrolling and carrying this for long periods of time, which is definitely something you can do in the woods out here. That to have something to hold on to that's more vertical. Not that I'm holding it like this, but it's just a better wrist angle for me. And then I can also use as a point of reference or to drive into a barrier. I can pull back with it if I'm not going to put my support hand back here on the stock. If I'm shooting off the bipods, it works really well. The bipods do change length, so I'm adjustable here. So if, depending on my terrain, if I've got the mag, we got mag in, and you can see here if the bipods are completely collapsed, they don't quite hit the table right. So I can extend those out. That's great. And if I want to, for instance, use these bipods to shoot off of a barrier or something like that, I can extend them out to completely cover the barrel so that I'm never going to rest the barrel on anything accidentally and affect my point of impact. So that's really great, and they work really, really well for that. And again, I've had zero issues with the Magpul bipod, so feel free to argue down in the comments about which bipod I should use, but for the price and the performance, I've been super happy with these things. Like I said, there are a bunch of other things I could do with this gun. If we used our 5-25, it's a shorter optic. That would give me more rail space up here to maybe put like a thermal or night vision device on it if I wanted to. But honestly, for what we do and what I do with this gun, because this is one of my personal guns, I just don't need it. You know, I'm not running nods all the time. Most of the time, this is me with an extra mag in my pocket bumping around the woods, right? This does have the Surefire 3-prong war comp up front. I'm probably going to switch that out at some point just because I've not been as happy with the Surefire cans on semi-auto gas guns. They're just a little bit more gassy. I'll probably use something like a Huxworks or another flow-through design just to keep the overall system gassed a little bit better, and I'm not getting as much gas back in my face, which, you know, at my age, I don't need any more carcinogens in my body. So I'll probably do that, but this works just fine. I had no issues with it. It's just probably something I'll upgrade in the future. So guys, that is the idea and sort of overall talking points for the DMR, the Designated Marksman Rifle. I'm certainly no sniper. I'm an okay shooter, and this gives me all the capability I need with a 16-inch barrel, 308 caliber to shoot as far as I want and to really shoot just about anything on the East Coast that I'm going to put rounds into. So I really, really like it, and it's a vibe. It's a SCAR, right? Can you do the same exact capability build for probably half the price? Yes, you probably could. And as long as you're putting EOTECHs on it, hey, you're probably not going wrong. So you do you, but I'd love to hear what you guys are running for Designated Marksman Rifles. Do you see a need for them for civilians? And if so, how are you guys building them out? Put it down in the comments. Let me know all the things I did wrong, because we appreciate the engagement. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Train hard, live free. See you next time.